This is video number 7, Record with Audacity. In this video, we'll teach you how to record an OMT translation using the program Audacity. Video number 5 already showed you how to set up Audacity. So we assume you have it set up and you have your project saved. The first step you want to do is making sure that all the translators are ready. So it's 3 mother tongue translators. One is operating the computer, one is reading the trade language, and one is translating into the mother tongue. If they are ready, you can go to Audacity and you see the surface here. We have our tools bar up here and we have the 2 tracks. One that picks up the trade language and one that picks up the mother tongue. Now what you want to make sure first is that you have a decent recording level. The first step to do this is to enable silent monitoring by clicking here on this microphone and click enable silent monitoring. And now you can hear me talking on the first microphone, and you usually want to be between -12 and -6. So that's the area where you want to be, and that looks quite good already. And if it's not good enough, too loud or not enough volume, you can use the gain to lower this and to come into a decent place. And now we want to hear the same from the first microphone, which is a trade language.
After this, the Lord appointed 72 others and sent them on ahead of him, 2 by 2, into every town and place where he himself was about to go.
Okay, that's perfect. We see here that trade language is a bit lower than the mother tongue, but that's good because we're ultimately interested in the mother tongue. If necessary, you can also use this button here to adjust the recording level on the computer itself. But you usually want to use the gain on the interface. Now, the second step to ensure you have a nice recording level is to make an actual test recording. This is done by just pressing on the red recording button and to just read the text that you're supposed to read. So we are going to first start with the trade language and we're going to see how this looks like.
After this, the Lord appointed 72 others and sent them on ahead of him, 2 by 2, into every town and place where he himself was about to go.
Now we're going to switch to the mother tongue. Nachher hat Jesus 72 weitere Jünger ausgewählt und hat sie immer zweite in die Städte und Dörfer geschickt, die er später selber hat aufsuchen. Okay, and we can stop this now. You see how the recording appears in waveform here, and these waves actually look good at this as they're in a good spectrum. And also our trade language is very constant. So there's a few things you want to make sure. As I already said, the mother tongue should always be louder than the trade language. And the second thing you want to make sure is that the 2 tracks don't pick up from the other tracks. So while the trade language is being spoken, the mother tongue track shouldn't pick up anything. Same happens when the mother tongue is being spoken, the trade language track shouldn't pick up anything, which is the case here. If they do pick up something from the other track, from the other recording, you have to minimize this by either vocal isolation with like different places or like adjusting the distance between the microphones or using padding to isolate vocally, or you use the gain and you lower the gain on the microphone that picks up too much, but still making sure that we are in a decent recording level. But this looks good here in our version, so we are ready to record. So to go back, you can just delete what you've just recorded, and then you are ready to start your recording. We're going to demonstrate now a few things around recording by using or translating the first 5 verses of Luke 10. We're going to start with just translating Luke 10, 1 and 2 to show the general process. And this is that, as video 6 shows you, first the trade language is being read, and then the mother tongue will translate. And then it switches back to the trade language and then back to the mother tongue. You usually want to have a visual sign that the person who is operating the computer gives to the person who is starting. And then the person who reads the trade language will start on this visual sign and will first read the chapter and the verse it starts with, just so you have a good overview over this chapter. So that's what we're going to do now. You just use the red recording button to start.
Luke chapter 10. After this, the Lord appointed 72 others and sent them on ahead of him, 2 by 2, into every town and place where he himself was about to go.
Nachher hat Jesus 72 weitere Jünger ausgewählt und hat sie immer zu Zweite in die Städte und Dörfer geschickt, die er später selber hat aufsuchen.
And he said to them, The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore pray earnestly to the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest.
Er hat zu ihnen gesagt, die Ernte ist gross, aber es gibt nur wenig Arbeiter. Darum bittet der Herr von der Ernte, dass er mehr Arbeiter in seine Ernte aussendet. Now we stopped it by using the stop button. You can do this all the time during your recording, and then you can keep recording with the red recording button. So the recording looks good. We see how the waveforms switch from the trade language track to the mother tongue track, back to the trade language track, back and forth. And that actually helps you to identify which language is being spoken at the moment. And you can even count down which verse is being recorded at the moment. But there's a way to make this even more convenient and to gain a better overview, because some chapters have like more than 50 verses where you really need a good overview. And you can label parts of your tracks by using Control M. So what we're going to do now for the next two verses is demonstrate how labeling a verse looks like. What is going to happen as soon as the verse is being read in the trade language, the person operating the computer presses Control M and labels it with the according verse. So we're going to start labeling verse 3 and then labeling verse 4 while we are translating it. This is super helpful to edit afterwards. Okay, so again, think about your visual sign and then we can record.
Go your way. Behold, I am sending you out as lambs in the midst of wolves.
Geht jetzt und denkt dran, ich schicke euch wie Lämmer mitten unter die Wölfe.
Carry no money bag, no knapsack, no sandals, and greet no one on the road.
Nehmt kein Geld, keine Tasche und keine Schuhe mit. Falls ihr unterwegs Leute trefft, lasst euch nicht auf lange Begrüßungen und Gespräche ein. So, you see again how we labeled our tracks, and we have here verse 3, first the trade language and then the mother tongue track. And the same here, verse 4 with the trade language and the mother tongue track. And you can even see the noise that I just made in the end of verse 4, which was something like falling down on the table that is being picked up here. In the next video, we'll show you how to cut out this. But you see that this is being recorded as well. So just make sure that you don't wear any shoes that are too loud and that there's no other noise around. What you also see is this little split in between the clips here once we made a pause. Again, in the editing video, it will be explained to you how to join the clips together. Now we have our last way of recording things, and this is in the case if there is a mistake. So what happens if there is a mistake, you want to make sure to repeat this verse, because there might be, maybe the trade language speaker made a mistake or it was the mother tongue translator, but you want to have this sure, or you want to be sure to have this verse properly recorded. In this case, any of the people that are involved will say repeat. And upon this, the trade language verse will be read again and it will be translated again. And then make sure, if you're labeling it, to label it with the according verse and the add on repeat. So we're going to demonstrate this with verse 5. Again, look out for the visual sign.
Whatever house you enter, first say, peace be to this house.
Was auch immer für ein Haus ihr kommt, denke... repeat.
Whatever house you enter, first say, peace be to this house.
Wenn ihr in ein Haus kommt, dann sagt, Friede sei in dem Haus. Okay, this was the example of how to do a repetition. And as you can see here, there's the first verse, there's the translation, and you can even see, here you see that the translation is much longer than the trade language verse, so there must be something wrong. If it's longer or if it's shorter, that's always just a good sign that something is wrong. And then you can see the verse 5 repeat here, that it's actually being repeated. So you know in editing that the first part can be deleted and you can go with the repeated verse. Yeah, so that's it for recording. These are the 3 ways to record, or the 3 tools you need. Just normal recording, recording with labeling, and repetition of verses. Once you are finished with the part that you are recording, which is in our case just Luke 10, 1-5, you want to make sure to save your file. In order to do so, press on File, go to Save Project, and Save Project here. This will save the project and you can close the window. And in the next video, we'll show you how to edit this file.